Hello, good morning and welcome back students. I am Vaibhav Shah and I am going to teach you the subject economics. This is our session number 3 of video lectures. In first session we discussed about the glimpse of the subject matter economics, and in last lecture we discussed about the price and value. Today we are going to start with the point number 2.2, that is goods and services. But before that, hope all of you are safe at your home. Please stay at home. Don't go outside anywhere without any reason, because the pandemic is spreading very fastly, and nowadays we are seeing the more cases of local transmission in nearby areas of Bhavnagar also. So it is my humble request to all of you, please don't go anywhere without any of the genuine reason, because we care for our students and their families also. Thank you. Now let us start with the topic, that is goods and services. Hope all of you have enjoyed my last lecture also, and if any of the suggestions you are having, then please feel free to comment on YouTube channel or give it to me personally. Now let us start with the point number 2.2, that is goods and services. Basically we are knowing the difference between these two, that is all those things which are having the physical existence or that can be seen and touchable is called goods, while all those things which are intangible or do not have any physical existence or which cannot be touched or seen is called services. But here we have to write in an economics language, so that we have to follow a proper guidelines or a proper words which is given over here in the textbook. So first of all, let us start with the goods, as we have already discussed in last lecture, but it is my responsibility to revise these points once again. Goods means commodities which have physical existence are called goods. Like in our routine life we are using the clothes, shoes, spectacles, watches, etc. In economics they are meant to satisfy the need of consumption. By consuming all these things we are getting satisfaction, which is psychological in matter. Second one is services. Commodities which are intangible or do not have a physical existence are called services. In economics they are meant to satisfy the needs of human life. Goods satisfy the needs of consumption, while services satisfy the needs of human life. Economics studies activities pertaining to production, consumption and distribution of goods or services. The nature of goods and services is different, though both are important in economics. Here the subject economics studies activities pertaining to. All these activities are the traditional and base activity of the economics itself, that is production, consumption and distribution of goods, because the main aim of economics is to satisfy the needs of a consumer, and our needs are reoccurring again and again. We need to have a proper production planning, consumption pattern where we are consuming these goods, and distribution of goods which will be helpful in getting satisfaction. The nature of goods and services is different, as we have already discussed that the goods are having physical existence while the services does not have any physical existence, but both are important in economics and our routine life also. Now next paragraph, food is a good, that is commodity, but cooking is a service. It means the food is a good, but preparing a food or cooking a food is service. So here in one example we are having the proper meaning of both these things. Units of good or stock of goods can be measured cardinally. We are having two different points. First one is cardinal measurability and second one is ordinal measurability. The cardinal measurability means we can quantify them or we can measure in the numerical terms. So, units of good or stock of goods can be measured cardinally, that is, we can measure in number of items or number of units, like I am having 2 shirts or 3 shirts or 5 shirts, or I am having 2 pairs of shoes, 3 pairs of shoes, etc. Services generally cannot be measured in cardinal terms. So first difference is the goods are having physical existence while commodity services do not have physical existence. The second difference is that the goods or stock of goods can be measured cardinally, but the services cannot be measured in cardinal terms. However, the time spent after providing a service can be measured. It means a time spent during a service or after a service is measured, as we are having a movie which of 2 or 3 hours, then it is the time spent after providing a service, because once we purchase a ticket of a movie, we will be able to see the full movie with that particular amount of money. The impact of a service in satisfaction of human wants is also abstract. It means through the goods we can quantify our satisfaction also. But the impact of service in satisfaction of human wants is also abstract. It means it is not the full-fledged concept, but it is just the abstract of the full-fledged concept of goods. Like by consuming the goods we are getting a highest level of satisfaction, but by using the services we cannot measure that how much satisfaction we got through these terms. So the impact of service in satisfaction of human wants is also abstract. It means you can measure but not in exact terms. For example, the need for knowledge and curiosity is satisfied by the service of education. Like in a schooling, basically the teachers are satisfying the thirst of knowledge and curiosity of students. Like in schools, we are giving examples and answers of your different questions and your concerns. So the need for knowledge, it means you are coming over here in a school for getting some kind of knowledge, and to satisfy your curiosity that the questions comes in your mind during the routine life activities is satisfied by the service of education. So the teacher who teaches in a school or in a class is providing a service of education, and it is comes under the head of services and not on the head of goods. However, the exact contribution of the service of education in knowledge creation is abstract. It means one teacher is expert enough to teaching in 2 or 3 different subjects, or it may happen that during the time period of 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, whatever you are getting as a knowledge from your teacher is just an abstract, because you cannot get the full knowledge as your teacher is having. Here you are getting the education enough for passing your examination or through satisfying your curiosity only. So the exact contribution of the service of education in knowledge creation is abstract. It means you are not able to getting the full-fledged information or knowledge from your teachers, but whatever you are getting is more than enough for your betterment and development. However, a book is a good, and it may be possible to tell about the amount of information obtained from the book. So, the book which is used in the service of education is a good, because it has physical existence, we can touch them and we can see them also. But book is a good, and it may be possible to tell about the amount of information. Like in our economics textbook we are having 11 chapters and all the contents and concepts are given clearly. So by reading or understanding that particular book, we will be able to understand the level or the total volume of information which the book contains. So here from the book you can just quantify the level or the volume of knowledge. But through the teaching, you cannot quantify the knowledge which you are gaining by the way of learning from your teachers. Now, let us move forward. Point number 2.3, that is types of goods. The various goods and services in economics can be classified as. So here we are having the different 5 types of goods, or we can say the 5 categories of goods, but total types of goods are 10 in number. First one is a physical, that is tangible goods and intangible goods. Second one is a non-economic goods and economic goods. Then third category is regarding durable goods and non-durable, or we can say perishable goods. Fourth one is the private goods and public goods. And fifth and last category is consumers goods and producers goods. Now let us discuss each one in a detail. So first of all, let us start with the first type of good, that is physical or tangible goods and intangible goods. As we have already discussed in the meaning of goods, that all those goods which are having physical existence or the goods which is tangible in nature are called goods, while all those goods which are intangible or does not have any kind of physical existence are intangible goods. But let us discuss in detail. Some goods have physical existence like ball, bat, television, refrigerator, stove, mobile phone, and so on. So these are the examples. If it is question in your examination like give the meaning and examples of tangible goods, then you have to write like some goods have physical existence like ball, bat, television, refrigerator. You can write any of the examples from given here, or you may have your own example if there is a clear-cut understanding regarding these tangible goods. This can be measured. It means we can measure in terms of number of units like 1, 2, 3, 4, or we can measure in a quantity, or we can quantify it in some kind of units. Whereas some goods, so here thus this can be measured. We completed the first part, that is physical or tangible goods. Now let us move towards the second part, that is intangible goods. Whereas some goods do not have physical existence and cannot be measured cardinally, and those are called services. So if the goods is having physical existence, it is called, or we can measure in a cardinal manner, then it is called physical goods. While some goods do not have physical existence and cannot be measured cardinally, and those are called services. For example, education that you are getting in your schools and classes, medical consultancy which we are consulting a doctor for different kind of disease and illness, rendition of music where we are listening or we are having the rendition, cooking, and so on. All these are included in the intangible category, or we can say these are the examples of intangible goods. So there may be question like give the meaning of tangible and intangible goods with example, then you have to write the full paragraph which is given over here. Dear students, we may have a examination pattern like we will be having some of the MCQs of 1 marks, we will be having some of the question that is VSQs, that is very short questions of 1 marks, then SQs, that is short questions of 2 marks, then LQs, that is long questions of 3 marks, and VLQs, that is very long questions of 5 marks. So we will be having MCQs, 1 mark question, 2 mark question, 3 mark question, and 5 mark question. And for attaining these particular questions, there is a perfect policy of the writing is given, which we will discuss at the end of this chapter, so that you will be able to understand it and write your worksheets or your exercise by that way only. So if it is asking 2 or 3 marks, that is give the meaning and examples of physical goods and intangible goods, then you have to write the full paragraph which we have discussed. Second one is a non-economic goods and economic goods. This is the second category. So first of all, let us discuss about the non-economic goods. Goods which do not command exchange value are called non-economic goods. If you are unable to understand the exchange value or the meaning of exchange value and use value, then refer our last lecture in which we have already discussed about the exchange value and use value. Exchange value means it is the value of exchanging one good for another good, or it is the value which we are exchanging for the money. So, goods which do not command exchange value are called non-economic goods. It means it cannot be exchanged with the use of money. Non-economic means non-financial, means non-monetary. They are abundant in supply. Abundant means in a large quantity, and do not go through the economic process of production and distribution, though they are consumed by people. Remember all these things very clearly. These goods are not commanding any of the exchange value. Secondly, they are abundant in supply. It means their supply will be never ever less, or there will be no scarcity of these goods. And do not go through the economic process of production and distribution. It means if the goods is naturally available and we don't have to take any kind of pain to go through the economic process of production, it means production means the changing the form of the particular product. But here for non-economic goods, we do not go through the economic process of production. It means here we cannot change the form of the particular goods and distribution. It means there is no particular authority or business organization which is distributing these goods, though they are consumed by people. In spite of all these characteristics like no exchange value, abundant in supply, no economic process of production and distribution, still they are consumed by people. For example, sunlight, which is naturally available, air is also naturally available, and so on. Sometimes more example like water, which is available free of cost. But all these goods are very much necessary for living or for the livelihood of a life, and that's why their nature is of non-economic goods. Now let us move forward to the second type, that is economic goods. Goods which command an exchange value. It is obvious that all those goods which do not command any exchange value are non-economic goods. So the goods which command an exchange value in the market are called economic goods. It means they are having some kind of exchange value which can be quantified in monetary terms. They command an exchange value as they are scarce in supply. In last, non-economic goods, they are abundant in supply. That means there is no scarcity or no less supply, while the goods which are coming under the category of economic goods are having the exchange value and they are scarce in supply. It means their supply is limited in relation to their demand, and their supply can be held under control. It means if the businessman wishes, then he can restrict the supply of this particular goods. Here they haven't given any kind of example, but for example we are taking all those goods which are sellable into the market by different authorities or different business persons. So like mobile phones or clothes or shoes, etc. are coming under the economic value. If there is a question asked in your examination like give the difference between non-economic goods and economic goods, then you have to mention at least 3 points for 2 marks, 4 points for 3 marks, and minimum 6 points for 5 mark question. But here in this question we will be having only 2 or 3 differences. So it may happen that this question will be asked for 2 or 3 marks only. First of all, the nature. So non-economic goods not command exchange value, while economic goods are commanding the exchange value. Second one is their supply. So non-economic goods are abundant in supply. It means they are available in a larger quantity and there is no scarcity of goods, while the economic goods are having very scarce in supply. It means it is very less in supply as per their demand. Third one, non-economic goods does not command any market value, while economic goods is having their market value. And fourth one, the examples of these goods, for example of non-economic goods will be having sunlight, air, etc., while in example of economic goods we are having all those sellable goods which are sold in a market with different prices. So here we have discussed two categories. First one is a physical or tangible goods, second one and intangible goods, and second one non-economic goods and economic goods. Now let us move forward to the third type, that is durable goods and perishable. Third point, durable goods and perishable goods. First of all, let us understand the difference between these two. All those goods which are used or which can be used for more than once comes under the category of durable goods, while all those goods which cannot be consumed more than once comes under the category of perishable goods. So now after this discussion, let us discuss this point in a detail. First, goods which come to the market can be durable or perishable because it is the very nature of that particular goods that comes to the market are either durable or perishable. We are having the market for both of these categories, like we are having the markets for vegetables, fruits, milk, etc., which comes under the perishable goods market, while we are having the market of TV, refrigerator, AC, that comes under the category of durable goods market. So we will be having market availability of both these durable and perishable goods. Second paragraph, durable goods can be used for a long period of time and repeatedly. For example, shoes, clothes, television and refrigerator and so on. It means the durable goods can be used for a long period of time. It means you may use it for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, or sometimes more than 5 years. And repeatedly, it means it cannot be reduced or its usage cannot be reduced, or their availability is also as it is when you are using it repeatedly. For example, shoes, as all of us are wearing the shoes for a long period of time. Sometimes it may happen that students are spending whole 2 years of their schooling in one pair of shoes only. Clothes, like we are wearing different kind of clothes and our uniforms also. Television and refrigerator and so on. So all these goods comes under the category of durable goods, which can be used for a long period of time and can be used repeatedly. Now in this, the second type of good is a perishable goods. Perishable goods cannot last for a long time and are consumable only once. For example, milk, fruits and so on. So here the basic difference is that durable goods can be used for a long period of time, but perishable goods cannot be last for a long time. And durable goods can be used repeatedly, while perishable goods cannot be used repeatedly and are consumable only once. For example, milk, fruits and so on. So here also we are having two different points of differences which we can write in the examination if the question will be asked like give the difference between durable and perishable goods. Now let us move forward to the fourth category, that is private goods and public goods. Goods are classified as private goods and public goods based on their ownership and nature of use. Basically, in our routine life, we are having two types of goods. First one is a private goods, in which we are having the exclusive rights of using these goods. And second one is a public goods, where there is no clear-cut ownership of anyone. Sometimes it belongs to the government and sometimes it belongs to the society at large. But their classification of private goods and public goods is based on their ownership. It means if there is an exclusive right of using that particular goods to held by a person, then it is called a private goods. And if the ownership is of the coordinated in a nature, or it is a common, or it is a public in a nature, then it will be a public goods. So let us discuss about these categories. First of all, private goods. Private goods are goods which can be possessed and owned by a private individual. She or he takes all decision regarding these goods. So line this statement. Private goods are goods which can be possessed and owned by a private individual. Like we are having our own mobile phones, our own clothes, shoes, spectacles, our school bag, etc. comes under the category of private individual. Or it is possessed and owned by a single person or a private person by his or her own. She or he takes all decision regarding these goods. It means whether to recharge the phone or to charge the phone, or whether to take the school bag, etc. Decision is totally dependent on a single person, and that's why it is called a private goods. These goods possess the characteristics of excludability and competitiveness. So here one thing we have to remember is that the private goods possesses the characteristics of excludability and competitiveness. Line this statement and remember this one also. Now what is excludability and what is competitiveness? We'll discuss both of these points in a detail. So first of all, excludability means once a good is owned and being used by one individual, another individual cannot possess and use it at the same time. So excludability means once a good is owned and being used by one individual. If the good is placed on a shop or it is placed in a market, then it is basically not of a private good in nature, because it is possessed by the shopkeeper itself, but it is offered for sale. It means once these goods are public for all those who are willing to purchase that goods. Say for example a shoes. Shoes that placed in a shoe rack in a shop is public goods in the initial nature when it is offered for sale to all the individuals who are willing to purchase it. But once a good is owned, once I purchase the pair of shoes from that particular shop, then the ownership is transferred from shopkeeper to me. It means once a good is owned and being used by one individual, and once I purchase that particular pair of shoes and starts wearing it, another individual cannot possess and use it at the same time. Once when I have purchased that particular pair of shoes and starts wearing it at the same time, the another individual, whether he is my brother or my friend or whomsoever it may be, cannot possess, because now it is in the possession of particular person, that is me, and cannot use it at the same time, because right now it is in the ownership and possession of a single person and he prevents another to use it. And individuals have to compete for the ownership of these goods. So here the second meaning of competitiveness is like that. The individuals have to compete for the ownership of these goods. Once when it was placed on a shop, it is available for all. But once one person is purchased it, it becomes a ownership of a single person and he prevent others to use or to enjoy it. and it may result in the competitiveness of the ownership of that particular goods. Done? For example, a packet of biscuit purchased by one child in a market which has competition among buyers comes under the ownership of this child, and another child is excluded from having the same packet of this biscuit. So, for example, a packet of biscuit purchased by one child, it means when it was placed in a shop, it is available for all. But when one child has paid money for purchasing that particular packet of a biscuit and purchased by one child in a market which has competition among buyers, it means when it was in a shop, it was available for all, and there may be some more children also there who are willing to purchase it. But once if one child has purchased it, the competition is over. So initially it was having a competition among buyers. Comes under the ownership of this child, it means when this goods comes under the ownership of a child who had purchased it, the another child is excluded from having the same packet of biscuit. So right now, due to time limitation, we are concluding our session number 3rd over here, that is the private good and public good. On next lecture, that is on lecture number 4, we will discuss this point again and we'll discuss some of the more important insights of this particular thing. Thank you very much, class.